Reviving NCIS original parent series is the perfect way to save the show from its current struggles. Because of its success, it's often forgotten that the CBS institution actually started as a spin-off. Before its premiere, NCIS had a 2-episode backdoor pilot in JAG Season 8 episodes 20 and 21, Ice Queen, and Meltdown. Leroy Jethro Gibbs' MCRT squad in JAG looked slightly different from the one that he eventually led on his own show. Despite that, many aspects established in the legal drama about the Navy Yard-based team became the foundation of the NCIS that's known today. That connection was acknowledged in earlier seasons of the ongoing CBS series, but the references eventually tapered off. With JAG now available to be streamed online, the military judge-focused series is enjoying a resurgence in popularity. Although some are revisiting it for the first time since it ended in 2005, others are discovering it for the very first time. As with old shows, the topic of reviving JAG has been thrown around. Admittedly, there are no concrete plans to bring back JAG. That said, original cast member James Elliott is convinced that bringing it back is possible. If that ever happens, that may just be what NCIS needs to solve its flailing storylines and dropping ratings. James Elliott claims that JAG can still be revived today. Elliott played Harm in NCIS parent show Harm and Mac in JAG Season 5. In a new interview, Elliott discussed the chances of bringing back JAG, pointing out that since creator Don Belisario is still alive, it can still happen. Additionally, the Harmon Rab actor also expressed his eagerness to appear in the proposed reboot, although he admitted that the chances of that happening are very slim. Read his full quote below. Elliott is best known for his role in JAG. He was arguably the face of the series when it ran from 1997 to 2005, so his opinion on its potential return to TV has weight, at least to fans of the show. Previously, Elliott was asked if he thinks he can reprise Harm in NCIS, and intriguingly, he doesn't think so. A JAG revival can add an interesting dynamic to NCIS. Including a legal aspect to NCIS can revitalize its storytelling. NCIS Season 22 cast, left to right, Gary Cole as Alden Parker, Sean Murray as Tim McGee, Katrina Law as Jessica Knight, and Wilma Valderrama as Nick Torres. The idea of bringing back JAG isn't something that is being actively explored, primarily because the NCIS franchise is more focused on expanding its brand. On the heels of NCIS, Hawaii's cancellation, CBS launched NCIS Origins, the first prequel in the universe which tackles Gibbs' backstory. Meanwhile, in September, NCIS Tony and Ziva will debut on Paramount+. However, CBS and Belisario's team might want to take Elliott's comment more seriously for the sake of NCIS. It's no secret that the show has been struggling in the last year. NCIS Season 22 has its lowest-rated episode ever, and the show has been slipping in the rankings, overtaken by newer shows like Tracker, 911, and The Rookie, via THR. Various issues are contributing to this dip for NCIS. For what it's worth, the show is still one of the most-watched series on TV. Still, it would be best if CBS could revitalize it before things get worse for it, and bringing back JAG may just be the key to doing that. At the very least, it's worth considering. NCIS never really leaned into its JAG ties besides a few cases that involved the military judges. However, bringing them back into the fold now can introduce a fresh element to MCRT's weekly cases. Previously, they were almost exclusively painted as nuisances, if not anti-villains. This could shake things up in NCIS, especially since Alden Parker has somewhat settled into a routine. Maybe NCIS can also rewrite MCRT's relationship with JAGs. Similar to how it developed NCIS working dynamic with the FBI, care of the enduring friendship between Gibbs and Tobias Fornell, it can introduce someone who has a history with the Navy Yard office. Whatever it is, bringing back JAG and linking it better to NCIS opens up fresh story opportunities. Crossovers between NCIS and JAG are easier to do. The NCIS spin-offs are difficult to incorporate into the mothership. Although the NCIS universe is thriving with several active spin-offs, the Flagship can't really take advantage of its perks because of narrative limitations. NCIS Sydney takes place in Australia, while NCIS Origins takes place in the past. NCIS Tony and Ziva, on the other hand, is on streaming and needs to establish its identity separate from the mothership, at least right now. With all the shows evolving, NCIS desperately needs a boost as it's getting a bit stale. The weekly cases are simply not as compelling anymore. Meanwhile, the personal storylines, like Timothy McGee's personal arc problem, can't be easily solved. If JAG gets revived, its story can easily be linked to it simply because both shows will be set in Washington, D.C. Beyond that, since they aren't really about the same agency, crossovers are also uncomplicated to do without risking questions about the lack of them if CBS decides to pull back on them. Maybe, NCIS can even bring back Elliot as Harm in what could be the JAG revival's backdoor pilot, a full-circle moment more than 2 decades later.